this is the back of the yoke sweater for 2023.
All right, so here we are. We're going to knit the back. We need 38 left and 38 right. There's a lot of steps to this. So first we take our carriage, we go back and forth. And now we have to determine which is the back and which is the front. So I'm looking at this, trying to figure out which one I want to do. Because this was the last one I did, I'm going to make that one the front. So this is the back. So we find our center through all of this mess, because we have a lot of yarn tails that we're going to be tucking in as we knit. So we know this is the one side because it's purple. I seem to have a lot of yarn here, but we're going to hang this side till 38. And then we'll hang the other side to 38. And then we will start tucking in all of these ends, weaving them in. I think this is one of the few times I'm actually going to split the yarn up so that it will be tucked in a little bit better. So I will finish hanging this on and then we'll come back. Okay, I just hung my second side of the yoke onto the bracket of the machine just to keep the yarn tails out from the wheels of my chair. Okay, so the first side is on. I'm going to go underneath. Pull it down. And put a large weight on the triangle weight. We are going to be tucking in all of the white yarn tails, not the brown ones, that are on the needles. So that's a lot of them. Now I'm going to hang the second side. This seems to be one of them. Not quite sure what's going on there, but we'll make it work. It's not an easy process sometimes, but you just got to work with it. All right, so I have a little needle and thread, and I'm going to break up these fibers, and then I'm going to weave in my ends to make my life a lot easier instead of harder at the end. I'm going to start randomly. I want this to be under a little bit of pressure. So this is 4 plies. So I picked a random 2. Into my needle threader. Okay, so this one is going to go this way into itself. into its friend, into another friend, and upward. And then it's going to go downward. And then it's going to come up on these two. Oh, didn't need to pull that out. It's going to come upward. One, two, three. And be tied. And I'm just going to keep this up, going all the way across with just the white ones, where I'm just going to take them, split them, and make them do whatever I want them to do. So we'll come back when that is complete and I'll do a close-up. Alright, this may seem like one hell of a mess, but the reality is that now I don't have as much work to do when I'm done. Like when it's time to seam it all up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to knit a locking row in tension 7. This row does not count as a row of knitting, it just counts as locking in all of these ends. And then we will start the actual increases for the back of this sweater. In case you haven't realized, we're knitting from the top down. So now we're going to very carefully go across. Now all of those stitches are locked in, resetting our row counter to 0, 0, 0. Taking a deep breath, and now we're going to knit across. We are now going to increase both sides 1 stitch. I'm going to use my 2-prong transfer tool. So this one, I'm going to transfer the last 2 over, 1 stitch. I'm going to fill in that gap with the stitch from the side, going inside to outside. All right, another row. Same maneuver, increasing 1 stitch. If the stitch is under pressure, just bring it outward. Knit across again. No increases on this row. Knit again. Now we're going to increase both sides 1 stitch. Tracing again. One second, please. All right, so I transferred the pearl bump. So now we're at 41 and 41, moving them forward. Going to knit across. Now we're going to increase 4 stitches. This is the armhole increase as opposed to an armhole decrease. So we have 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just going to E-wrap. Little breath, knit across. Okay, so we have these little stitches here. We need to claw weight them. And we need to increase 4 stitches on the right. So now we're at 45 and 45. Going to knit across, nice and slow. Claw weight on these ones. Now we have a really hard part. We need to knit 77 rows. So here we go. Still at tension 7, nothing changes. All right, this is row 10. I have 74 more rows to knit. I'm going to pause this video and knit at least 60 of those rows. Welcome back to row 70. I have 14 more rows to knit. So let's do them together. I see that I need a little bit of weight on this side. And a little bit of weight on this side. And keep knitting. Six more rows to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So now you need to decide. Do you want to rib it? Or do you want to take it off on waste yarn and hand knit it? Your choice. I'm going to put my ribber back on. And then I'm going to transfer for 2x2 ribbing. And I'm going to decrease my tension to 3-3. And I'm going to knit 15 rows of ribbing, and then I'm going to cast it off. So I'm going to pause this video while I get the ribber back on. And then you'll join me for the transfers. All right, so ribber's on. Let's transfer. Two by two, just to make it match the collar. Pretty easy. You get the idea. We'll be back when I'm on the other side. Sorry I got carried away transferring and forgot to take you on that journey. So what we will do is we will push these down, and then we will take this nice little tool and push back all of the ones that are not in play. I think we got them all. Yes, we did. Still waiting on the ribber that's out of play. Put that back there. Okay, so now we need our ribber comb. The reason why I didn't attach the ribber was so that I wouldn't have to detach it to do this part. Okay, coming from underneath, sneaking it upward, aiming for center. Lifting, connecting, and lowering the stitches. I'm now going to transfer the barrel weights from the triangle weight straight upward at 30 and 30. That should be enough weight for what we're doing. We're going to use that same tension that we did on the collar, so tension 3-3. I'm going to put in the pressers just for security. Take it outside so there's enough room for the pressers to actually move the way that they're supposed to. I think I'm okay. Everything looks good. I'm going to reset my row counter. And we're going to knit 15 rows. Okay, I'm looking to make sure everything's knitting off. I'm not sure if that's actually happening here. I'm sneaking the claw weight up in behind to grab those end stitches. So claw weight, sneaking it up in behind. Now I have those end stitches for sure. This is row 8 going to row 9. And 11, 12, 13, 14. This is row 15. We're now going to transfer them. Upward. And then I'm going to knit one row with just the main carriage at tension 10. And then we're just going to latch tool. So I'm going to pause the video, transfer, and we'll meet back when it's time to knit that one row. Okay, here's the last couple. We are transferred. We are unlocked. Lowering. That sounded a little rough. It really wasn't. Transferred. I meant disconnected. Okay, one row, tension 10, and then we're latch tooling. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of a yarn tail, not much. I have to take all of this weight off before I can latch tool, and I have to take off the ribber bracket. Before you move the carriage, set it back to tension 7 so you don't forget. Okay, so I'm going to take off the weights, the ribber comb, and then we'll come back. Okay, latch tool. The reason why I'm not back stitching or doing gate peg is the simple fact that this is the bottom of a sweater. It doesn't need to stretch as far, and it just makes a nice clean tight edge with no flare. So this is all I'm doing all the way across. Now you would be tempted to take off this waste yarn, but you can't, because you cannot take off the waste yarn until you knit the sleeves. So this is the back. You can see those little triangles that we made. When we're all done, everything will look pretty cool. So you're going to have to stay with me to the end to see this finished product or project. The ribbing, as you can see, it's nice and neat. There's still a little bit of stretch to it, but not much. This is again a size 40, so it'll look good when you're done. The parts that we worked in are now nice and neat. We can now trim the white ones, and then we can work on, at the very end, weaving in all of these ends for the brown ones. So it's just a little bit of less work at the end. Will be a bigger payoff when we're all done. So next up is the front of the sweater, not the next sleeve. If you haven't bought your yarn yet, buy 2 balls of the white stuff, because you will need both. And yeah, I guess that's it for today.
I wasn't joking. The front is next. So let's get to it.